Hello, everyone. My name is Deanna Solorzano, and I am from Mount St. Mary's, University of Los Angeles, presenting my project. Maps made using portable air sensors in and around Irwin Magic Johnson Park suggest that the park can buffer particulate PM2.5 air pollution. The goal of this project is to use portable air sensors to gather data around Irwin Magic Johnson Park, as well as compare gathered data to stationary air sensor data. The project focuses on particulate matter of the 2.5 micrometer size, which you can see in comparison to a human hair, some sand here, but the PM 2.5 is the light sort of pink color. This is because the PM 2.5 has been linked to cardiovascular and respiratory illness. Some organizations that have exposure mechanisms are the Environmental Protection Agency, who recommend no more than a daily average of 35 micrograms per cubic meter, and the World Health Organization, which says your maximum exposure should be 25 micrograms per cubic meter. The data was collected using an air beam sensor, which you can see here. It's this little ghost-looking clip-on, and then it has a corresponding app on the phone. On the if you look to figure 2 here, you can see where the stationary air sensors are located. They are in the red balloons, whereas the park is located where the black star. As you can see, there's quite a bit of space between the stationary air sensors as well as from the stationary air sensors to the park. If you look to table 2, you can see the air beam data in bold here with the standard air from the data collected. And then on the right, you have the stationary air sensor data for each location. And on the left, the date and the time that these were gathered. Figure 3 shows 4 different days. And the upper row is the hyperspatial graphs. The bottom row is the hotspot analysis of those graphs. Both were made using the ArcGIS mapping software, and then their legends are located down here. For the hyperspatial graph, darker points, the dark red points indicate 9 micrograms per cubic meter or higher, and then the tan shows PM2.5 at 5 micrograms per cubic meter lower. For the hotspot, the bright red spots show a hotspot with 99% confidence, meaning that the points were higher than the data's average. And the bright blue shows a cool spot with 99% confidence, meaning the points were lower than the data's average. Hotspots are relative to the graph's data, and the corresponding graphs are placed directly below and above each other. The first walk took place on Saturday, July 31st at 4 p.m. You can see quite a bit of variability throughout the park, as well as some darker areas and lighter areas on the hyperspatial graph. And these show up in the hotspot analysis as well, with a hotspot being seen in this sort of L-shaped area, far left, and then the bottom right. The second walk took place on Tuesday, August 3rd, also at 4 p.m. These two are at the same time. And you can see that the pollution burden was quite a bit lower on this day. As you can see, it was a lot lighter for the legend. So it was more near the 5 particulate matter rather than the 8 or 9. And then you can still see some hotspots because these are relative to the graph. We have a hotspot in this L-shaped area, this top left area, this bottom left, a little bit on the bottom, and then about in this upper right and right hand stretch. The third park walk was taken on Wednesday, August 4th. And you can see this these dark points indicating that there was a high pollution burden comparative to the other graphs. And then the hotspot analysis shows hotspots mostly on this left side, a little bit on this bottom right, and then a few on the right hand side. The final walk shows Wednesday, August 4th, which is the same day as C. However, C was at 8 a.m. and D was at 6 p.m. As you can see, there's still a bit higher air pollution burden than you saw on Saturday and Tuesday, but it's lower than you saw at 8 a.m. You can see a few hotspots on this top side, and then on the bottom left, and then bottom right. These graphs show that air pollution is variable throughout the park on any given day, and that it even changes between the same time on different days and even at different times on the same day. There's also consistent hotspot on the bottom left here, bottom left here, and bottom right on most of the graphs, as well as this sort of L-shaped area. Something that is notable on table 2 is that the stationary data was on average 25 micrograms per cubic meter higher than the park. However, they are within the same range, so it is to be assumed that the airbeam is a accurate way of collecting data. It's also notable that this underlined spot here on Southgate on the October 7th was higher than the World Health Organization daily average maximum. So it's important to know your particulate matter exposure because it could mean unhealthy levels of exposure. Also seeing that the stationary sensors are quite far and spread out. These portable air sensors can be a valuable tool for quantifying like local pollution burden and thus empower communities to advocate for their health. Future research could look at the air measurements on the streets surrounding the park, as well as the inner walking path paired with the outer ring, just to compare to see how much of a buffer or how strong of a buffer this park can provide. I would like to thank the National Science Foundation and their IUSE program, building capacities to increase retention and graduation rates of women in undergraduate STEM education, as well as Dr. Jones. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.